Hey guys, and welcome to episode 8. I am currently £5,901.89p in and £308.22p up. So, first, let's get started. And today's episode, where I normally would have a stock, today I'm showing you a tool that I've come across on Stockopedia. And today's stock that we're going to discuss is Strix, as I've mentioned before in a previous episode. So let's go through Stockopedia's rating on Strix. So they've given it a 91 out of 100 rating, so that's quite high. And the risk rating that they've given it is balanced, so it's not so volatile, so which is good. And it's a small cap, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because it's more likely to grow. And the style that they've given it is a super stock in all the values above, so in quality, value and momentum. And then they finally tell you what sector it is, and it's in the industrial sector. So I would use this tool as a primary measure, not to make my final decision, but just to see what the rating on Stockopedia is, whether it's worth investing in or it's just a tool to use as a just a starting point. So let's start with the actual movings in my portfolio. So I sold my shares in WPP, and I decided on this because I thought that the advertisement, the old school advertisement with regards to magazines and billboards, wasn't very lucrative in the near future. So maybe if I was to hold this maybe 5, 10, 20 years, I don't think it would grow or keep growing in the same way. So I decided to sell. And the next thing that I bought was Tesla. So I did want to hold Tesla again because I knew that it was a company that's going to keep growing, it's going to keep adding to its value, and it's going to be a big player in the near future. But I did make a bit of a mistake. And if you have a look at this graphic, you can see that I actually bought at the peak of 815. And this is the mistake that I think that some of us have made in our journey, especially when we're trying to buy at the right time. And I thought, oh my god, it's going to hit 900 and I won't be see the price at 815 again, so I've got to buy now. So this is exactly what happened. And so I bought at the peak of 815. I think this was a Monday on a Tuesday. And if you had looked, if I had waited a little bit more, or maybe bought the night before, I could have got it for 740. Or if I waited a little bit longer, maybe 760 in the evening on that day. But just my luck. But like I said, I'm going to hold this for quite a long time. And my aim this time is to hold until the share kind of doubles. So when the share hits 1,630, I'm going to sell one share to recuperate the money that I put in, and then hold the other one for as long as I need to or want to, kind of thing. So mostly this week I consolidated my shares. I didn't buy any new shares, and so I put some more money into SMT because I thought SMT was growing quite well, had a good growth, and so I bought 5 more shares in SMT. And the other trust that I bought was the Japan Trust, which is also run by the same people who run the SMT by Bailey Gifford, if that's correct. And they mainly deal in this trust, basically deals with Japanese companies. So I thought this would be a good time to buy into the Japanese market. So the likes of SoftBank, Sony, and obviously Sony's releasing the PlayStation 5. So I thought it's a great time to kind of get in now before the boost of Sony with the PlayStation 5 sales. And then moving on to Future, which I did mention in a few episodes back, and I bought some more. I'm currently own 11 of these at the moment at £13, and I think they've broken even on Friday when I last checked. So hopefully after next week there'll be some growth on this, and perhaps just similarly with Tesla, I'm going to put the price to increase to a level where I can sell half of them for the majority of of my buying value, and then just let the other ones go as long as I kind of want or need. And so so there's a calculation that I have that I use, and if you guys are really interested in to see how I use it, just leave a comment in the section below, and perhaps I can put that in a separate episode so you guys can see how I work it out. And obviously when it's 2 shares, it's kind of straightforward, it's kind of double the value and then you sell it. But when you've got odd numbers like 11 or 16 or something, then you kind of want to work it out. And so there's a calculation that I use. And so if you, like I said, if you're interested, just drop a comment below. And then moving on to some of the shares that I bought. So Vodafone and Legal and General and Taylor Wimpey are the three that I sort of consolidated, added some more value, and they were doing really well over the last two to 3 weeks. So I thought, why not add some more shares, and hopefully that will keep it allow it to grow. And so I also bought one more share in UK Dividends. This crossed the £8 barrier, so when it dropped back down, I thought I'd pick up one or two, and so hopefully also has a great dividend yields. I think it's at 5%. So obviously within maybe next month or so, I'll probably put in another lump sum and buy maybe 12-13 more of those as well. And then moving on to Standard Life. This is basically a trust that deals with EU stocks. So it's a great way to kind of diversify, and they have a 3% yield. So I think this kind of covers the EU market for me, and it has a decent dividend, as I mentioned. So I've added two more. This was actually a free share that I was given, and I did a bit of research whether I was going to sell it, and I think I've sold all my other free shares that I have except for this one. Actually, this one I liked because it was the EU market and it kind of diversified my portfolio. So, and moving on to the REITs that I purchased this week. So these REITs, EEW is a trust, and this kind of deals in a fair amount of commercial and properties and warehouses, and so I thought, why not? And LXI kind of deals with more homes, rental properties, so I think that was quite diversified. And as well as the last one, which was land security, which kind of deals with commercials in London and other commercial sites. So it's well diversified. REITs, 3 REITs. So I thought these three and that would be kind of a good diversified REITs portfolio. And with these 3 REITs, they will be giving me monthly dividends. So I thought that was a nice add, nice touch. And finally, I thought I'd show you a quick overview of what I own in a pie chart sort of form, and so you can pause the video and have a look for yourself if you're really interested. So my major holdings are Tesla and Games Workshop at the moment, but I'm trying to bring the value. I think next month or the month after will kind of bring the value under 20%, because I don't want one share or one company to be more than 20%. And then last but not least, just quick movers up and down and some talking points in my portfolio at the moment. So downward movements were Tesla, as I mentioned before, buying at the highs of 815, kind of dropped, but I think it hit 800 again when I took this screenshot, so that's not doing too bad. Then Games Workshop fell from the purchase price of 73 down to 71, up and down, so I'm not too worried about that going too further down with its company credentials. And the big movers up, as I mentioned, were Taylor Wimpey and WWE, which kind of also is close to breaking even, and then hopefully we'll see so I'm not too worried about that at the moment. I'm kind of hold on till any deal kind of goes through with any of the streaming sites. So I'm just holding on for that. And then obviously Future, which kind of broke even, which I thought was going to happen sooner or later. And then the 2 talking points, obviously, as I mentioned, Japan Trust with the likes of Sony and PlayStation. And the last but not least is Sirius Minerals. So there has been some news coming out with regards to what's happening. So the company was trying to find fundings, and they didn't give any specific as to what type it was, whether it was a company or whether it was. So they have kind of given up on taking a big loan, but they are willing to be kind of taken over, but they're still in the hands of a vote with regards to the shareholders. So we'll see how those vote in the near future, and so fingers crossed we'll see if that actually brings any yield. And that concludes this week's episode. Thank you for listening, and hopefully if you enjoyed anything, please leave a comment in the section below, and please comment, like and subscribe, and thank you for listening.